Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to the class of history. In the previous class, we had completed about the contributions given by the Mughal kings. We had gone through Akbar, Aurangzeb, and Babur, and the different steps taken by Akbar, or the different reforms that were brought out by Akbar, like Rajput policy, the steps towards integration, and the social and educational reforms. Today what we are going to focus is on the administrative system of the Mughals. What were the systems followed by the Mughals in the administration? There are 6 different points that we need to study. Before we go to all those 6 points, there are 2 strong pillars that supported the administrative system. And what are those 2 pillars? The first pillar is the extreme authority or the absolute authority of the emperor. It means the king was the absolute authority in the area or in the territory. Second is the strength of the army. These are the 2 pillars that supported the administrative system of the Mughals. The absolute power of the king. Second, the strength of the army. So these are the 2 pillars that you need to remember: the absolute authority of the king and the strength of the army. Now let's come to the first point. I said there are 6 points to be learned. The first point is the monarch. Monarch means the ruler or the king. The Mughals believed that the power of the king came directly from God. It means the power of the king. The king has the power which directly came from God. So there is no other human intervention. There is no human process in between. The power of the king directly came from God. And the office of a true ruler, since the power came from God, the office of the ruler was responsible because of the divine illumination. Which means the office of the king is responsible for the divine power or the divine strength that came from God. So what happened? The emperor was considered, the king was considered as vice regent of God on earth. The king was considered as a vice regent because the power came directly from God. So the king was considered as a vice regent of God on this earth. So what did the king do? The king had to rule with a paternal love towards his subject. It means the king had to show the fatherly love towards his subjects because the power came directly from God. And this particular king was the head of the executive, legislative, judiciary and the army. The king was the head of all these areas: executive, legislative, judiciary and the army. And he was the supreme commander of the armed forces. The king was the supreme commander. He was the absolute commander of the armed forces in the territory. And it was king who did all the appointments and the removal of the officers. And the king made the laws and issued all the administrative ordinances. And there was something called royal usuk affixed for the appointments and the title. So these are the things that you need to remember about the first point called the monarch. Remember the most important thing. The most important thing is that the power of the king directly came from God. So the king was considered as the vice regent on this earth. And the king was the absolute authority, absolute power in the area. There was no one who could question the king because he was head of everything, and he ruled his subjects with paternal love. That's the first point to be learned, that is the monarch. Second is about the ministers. Who are the ministers appointed by the king? So the first one is monarch, second is the minister. There are 3 people that you need to remember. The first one is known as the Wakil, known as the Prime Minister. He had powers in the civil and the military affairs. The first one is Wakil. Second is Diwan or Wasir or Diwan in Allah. There are three different names: Diwan, Wasir or Diwan in Allah. And what was the duty of this particular person? He was the head of the revenue department and responsible for the income and the expenditure. He looked after the income, how much money did they get, and what was the expenditure. So head of the revenue department who looked into the income and the expenditure. And third one is the Mir Bakshi. He was the head of a military department, intelligence and the information agencies. So these are the three important ministers during the time of Mughal Empire. The first one is Wakil, who acted as a prime minister, who had powers in the areas of civil and military. Diwan, head of the revenue department, and was responsible for the income and expenditure. Mir Bakshi, head of the military department, intelligence and information agencies. I hope you are clear with the first two. The monarch. Second is the ministers. Okay. Now let's move on to the third one, that is the judiciary. How was the judiciary set up during the time of Mughal? The person in charge of the judicial department was known as a Qazi. He was the head of the judicial department, head of the judiciary, and there was someone called Chief Sardar. Chief Sardar, who was responsible for the charitable and religious matters. So under judiciary, there are two people that you need to remember. One is Qasim, head of the judicial department. Second is Chief Sardar, who looked into the religious and charitable matters in the area. So we have clear these three: monarch, ministers. Third one is the judiciary. Now let's move on to the next one, the fourth one. The fourth is known as the provincial government. Provincial government. How was it divided? Okay. The Mughal kings, they paid huge amount of attention. They took special attention with regard to the organization of provincial government. Okay. So the Mughal rulers, the kings, they had paid special attention with regard to the organization of provincial government. Now, how did they divide the empire? Okay, the complete empire, the whole empire, was divided into 12 provinces. The whole empire was divided into 12 provinces known as Subhas. Okay. And these 12 provinces were divided again into sarkars. These 12 provinces were divided into sarkars again, and these sarkars were divided into again parganas or mahals. This is how the empire was divided. The empire was divided into 12 different provinces known as Subhas. These 12 provinces were divided into sarkars, and the sarkars were divided into again parganas or the mahals. Now we will see about the administration that happened in the province. So I hope it is clear for you how the empire was divided. Okay, now we will see about the administration that was done by the people. Okay, how was the administration done in the province? I hope it is clear for you now. So kindly go through the video once again and try to understand the content. I have already sent the notes. Complete the notes and watch the video along with the notes so that it will be easy for you to understand. So we'll continue with the provincial government in the coming classes. Thank you, children.